morning, class. My name is Fagasim Brema Abdullah, and today I will talk on challenges in Tehindo supply chain. Now, Tehindo is a tea company that produces two types of tea: the jasmine and the jasmine tea that is a gutter, and the fitel that is a fruity tea. Now, one of problems they had, when you're looking at their problems overview, one of the problems they have is poor coordinations. They have a problem of poor coordination. That information is not flowing that properly from production to distribution. Now, for instance, in 2008, the Fitel they were out of stock. They ran out of stock, and this is as a result of poor coordination. Poor information flow, and whilst the Gutel they were very stable in. They were very stable. They didn't run out of stock, And one solution I would say they need to improve on the way information is being processed in the company. They need to improve on that. And one recommendation I would give to them is they need to adopt the use of software like SAP that will streamline the product and it will improve, their communication. Now, the Gutel versus Fitel supply challenges. Now, if you look at, for instance, if you look at the Gutel they always remain stable, like they have a very predictable demand, while the Fitel, most of the time they run out of production because they have a fluctuating demand. And one of the solutions is that they need to start they need to reduce retail variant, they need to reduce retail variant to simplify production. That is one alternate solution I will recommend for problems like that. And also, if you look at the recommendation, you need to invest in the flexible manufacturing systems. Like my last line, I talk about the adoption of software like SAP. So now they need to invest. If they actually need to start seeing improvement, they need to invest in the flexible manufacturing systems. Like creating software or using software. The causes of temporary demand increase. Now, one of the things I will say here is when the problem is that when there is a spike in prices, the whole demand will disrupt. Now, the reason why this happens is because, for instance, let's say New Year sale, and we know New Year there's going to be a lot of people going out to buy stuff, right? So what happens sometimes, prices goes up. So what people do, they do like a forward buy. They buy before, way ahead of time. So some people will go out and buy a lot of stock. So when prices go up, they already have enough. So that disrupt demand, because at the end of the day, when that time comes, there's not going to be enough stuff in the market. So one of the solution to this problem is, if you ask me, is they need to, for example, they need to use demand forecasting tools, that will anticipate these spikes. Yes, they need to do that. They need to use demand forecasting tools that will anticipate these spikes. And one recommendation I would say is that they need to implement advanced forecasting tools. Information distortion and solution. Now, to me, this problem is all as a result of poor information sharing, lack of real-time data sharing, promotional and predictability. What does that mean? That means basically the two companies need to coordinate properly, and they need to start sharing when it comes to promotions, when it comes to if there's going to be a sales, or they need to start sharing data, of how those two companies are doing, or how the managing sales, how they handle demands and supply, stuff like that. And one alternate solution I would say is that they need to limit promotion to stabilized order. They need to do that. And one recommendation I would say they need to adopt the they need to adopt the VMI. The VMI is basically the vendor managed inventory. The vendor managed inventory. They need to adopt that with a real time data, you know, and yes, they need to do that. I really appreciate you all. If you guys have any questions, you definitely can ask me or you can leave comments, to my assignment, and God willing, I'll be able to answer. I appreciate you all, and I thank you all, and I wish you all the best of lucks in our different level. Thank you.